So I'm about to hit 100 subscribers. I started this channel about 3 months ago. Well, I had the channel longer than that, but I wasn't really doing anything with it until about 3 months ago. So in 3 months, I went from 8 subscribers to almost 100. In fact, by the time this comes out, I may have hit it. So welcome everybody. Just want to highlight 4 videos that might help you drawing comics and commissions. And I will put a link in the description down here to each of them. So the first one, I recently did a video on how I draw a comic in Manga Studio, which I think is actually called Clip Studio Paint now. But just how I organize layers and brushes and things, and start with a blank page and go to the layouts and move into inks. So that link is down there. The second one, once you've got your inks, how to color them. So I just did a video just last week about how I do the flats on a comic page in Photoshop and how I set up the layers and basically move through a page and just talk about how I approach that. Again, link down there in the description. I also did a moving on to the next stage, I guess, the shadows and highlights on a comic page. So I just talk about some thoughts on how I set up those layers in Photoshop, and all these I'm using a Wacom Cintiq, but it still works if you have another kind of tablet, or I mean, if you're doing it by a mouse, doesn't really, I mean, you use the tools you've got. So those 3 videos on how to make a comic book page are linked down here. As far as actual physical art, because all those were digital, I did a video on some tips on just using markers. So I was doing an Insecticon commission, and I just talk about how I go through and just the steps that I use myself, and there's different ways you can do markers, but if you like the way that my stuff looks, this is how I do it. So that link also down there. So for everybody that is new, I do a daily vlog. Sometimes it's I try to make it pretty informative, give freelance tips on doing art. Sometimes it's just some, I have to run errands and you come with me. So I try to do that every day, and then 3 times a week I do some live video streams on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays around 10 or 10:30 in the morning. So you can always catch them later. You can watch them live. So thanks for subscribing. Tell your friends, and I will see you tomorrow.